Hey hey! Sure, let's throw all my pens on the desk, only for me to be looking for my pencil for 10 minutes. Ah, here we are. Okay, let's skip all the atrocities in this sketchbook and find a nice blank page to bring one of my weird ideas to life, shall we? Today I want to make a merge between two things once more, but this time my inspiration came from food. A banana specifically. I was happily peeling my banana when I realized that the peel, with a lot of imagination, kinda looks like an octopus. And octopus are one of my all-time favorite animals. So of course I had to bring the banoctopus to life. And this one specifically is gonna be OCTOBANANUS. That's his name. And the species is gonna be banoctopus. When I write that down, my notes app autocorrect wants to change it to banoctopus. But we're not banoctopus, okay? We're making a banoctopus. I'm gonna quickly throw some colors on this just to see if I like the general idea. Of course, he's gonna have the banana color, and I want him to be a bit overripe with some brown spots. That's not how I like to eat my bananas, but I think visually that's gonna be the most interesting. And I also want to bring in some of this teal color. Is that teal? Whatever. This nice bluish color. Oh hey Eric, how are you doing? And let's draw him one last time to maybe have a chance to change some things that might not work so well yet. One thing I really love about octopus are their eyes. I don't know if you've ever seen one in real life, but their eyes are really cool. They have this interesting shape, and when they look at you, it's like they're staring right into your soul. And I want to try and replicate that in my sculpture, but let's see. For now, I'm happy with my sketch, so we can get started with the armature. Let me clean up real quick. And now we need some wire. More wire, some pliers, and aluminum foil. I love how you can just make sculptures with very inexpensive and widely available things. Like even air dry clay, in Germany at least, you can get that stuff at every arts and crafts store, and it's only a few euros. So if you've never tried it, please give it a go. It's honestly so fun and satisfying to bring your stupid ideas to life. I wasn't sure how to make Octo's armature at first, but I decided I really only need the armature for his banana peel tentacles. And the body I can just make out of aluminum foil. So I basically made this sun-like shape. I formed a ring and attached 8 pieces of wire around it for the tentacles. I attached all of them with my thinner wire, twisting it tightly around both pieces and then bending the ends inward so I don't stab myself with sharp wire, which occasionally still happens. And then I started bending the individual pieces how I wanted the tentacles to be. I tried getting some variation to make it more interesting. And where I wanted his face to be, I bended the 2 tentacle wires outward so they wouldn't block his view. Okay, that looks pretty good. Now it's time to make his body. So I'm getting out my aluminum foil and I'm just crumpling up a big piece. I'm pressing it down really firmly and trying to get the right shape and size. It doesn't need to be perfect, just good enough is fine. It's gonna get covered in clay anyway. Once I have the right size, it's time to get out my hot glue gun, and I'm gonna reinforce the connection of the tentacles with a ring to make them stay in place, and I'm also gonna glue the aluminum foil body to the armature. Alright, I know this doesn't look like an octopus right now, but at this point we gotta trust the process. This is the ugly stage and it's only gonna get better from now, if nothing goes wrong. So let's get out my air dry clay and cover this whole thing in a nice layer. A few days ago I started experimenting with polymer clay again, which I previously tried and I didn't like it at all. But I learned a few things about how to work with it, and honestly, I think for some projects it might be the better option. So maybe I'm gonna switch to polymer clay in the future. But for now, air dry clay is really great for these kinds of projects, so we're gonna stick with that. Well, look at that, OCTOBANANUS is already fully covered. So let's just quickly throw a stem onto this banana. Is it called a stem? I don't know. You know what I mean. And then we can let the first layer dry for a few days. During the drying process, some pretty severe cracks started forming at the base of his tentacles, but before taking care of that, I decided to sand him for some reason, and that really was a bad decision, because now his limbs are hanging by a thread. Literally. So let me assess the damage real quick, and yes, it's pretty bad, but nothing we can't fix. So let's get out my clay again and patch all of that up. And while doing that, I decided to also reinforce the bases of his tentacles more by making them thicker. Initially, I wanted them to be really flat to resemble a banana peel, but it makes sense that they are round at the bottom and then get more flat. After all, he's not a banana, he's a banoctopus. Yes, we get it, you came up with that. He's called OCTOBANANUS and he's a banoctopus. So clever. Is that schizophrenic? It doesn't matter. What I know is that I almost went insane when individually sculpting all of these tiny suckers. And yes, they are called suckers. But it was also kind of meditative, so I think I went a bit overboard and sculpted way too many. About 300 in total. But it only makes sense, you know? Real octopus have around 200 to 300 suckers in total. And they can move and grip with each one individually. But enough of those for now, it is time to make the eyes. And I found these gemstones that I had lying around since, 2005? And I think these are perfect for a mysterious octopus eyes. So I picked out a few options and holy cow, what the hell is that? Please kill it now! So I tried so many things off cam to make these eyes look special, and each one looked worse than the one before. So I decided to ultimately keep it really simple and just use the round gemstones as his eyes. I formed 2 balls out of clay and then pressed them onto his face. And then I basically just pushed the gemstones in there. I also made his eyes sit lower on his body and further apart, which I think really helps with the cuteness factor. In real life, octopus eyes are kind of more oval shaped, sometimes more square even, depending on how much they're squinting. But it's okay, we don't need to make them realistic. Nothing about this is realistic. This is a banana octopus, okay? There's nothing realistic about this. Okay, calm down. I tried adding some kind of eyelid, but I ditched it immediately. I think this one just needs to stay really simple. And I think that turned out pretty good. The only thing I don't like is the color of the eyes. I mean, I do like the green, but I think it doesn't really fit our aesthetics here, but I'll take care of that later. For now, we need to get out a reference banana, a pretty ripe one, and then we can start painting this little guy. Okay, so let's get out all the yellows and browns and mix a nice banana color. That looks pretty good, so let me just paint 500 coats of that real quick. Okay, wonderful. Unfortunately, I ate my reference banana and threw the peel away, but I think we will be fine freestyling the details. Let me just mix up a nice brown and add quite a bit of water to it. That makes it a lot easier for me to make the brown dots look more organic, I guess, and blend better with the yellow. I also use my fingers to feather out the edges of the dots. Basically, I'm making it up as I go. This is more of an experimental approach. What's also an experimental approach is what I did to the eyes. As I said before, I didn't like the green of the gemstones, so I decided to add this teal color to them. This was supposed to be a kind of see-through color, but it's not. But I do like the eyes better now, so they're gonna stay like this. And I can start the long and tedious process of painting these freaking suckers, man. I spent almost a whole night watching true crime documentaries and painting these things, which was fun, but my back was killing me. Eventually, I was done painting them all yellow, and then I decided that that wasn't enough, and I got out my Posca pen and painted these rings around the edges so that they kind of look like mini donuts. Fun fact, I hate donuts. I think the dough tastes disgusting. Come for me, I'm never gonna change my mind. Anyway, after another few hours, I think I have enough suckers for Octo, so I'm gonna keep the rest of them for another project maybe. And now, the moment I've been waiting for so long. I can finally start gluing these on. And that was so much fun. Look at that. Oh my god, this is all worth it. It looks so cute. And I wish you could hold him and feel this. It feels so satisfying to touch this. I still have a lot of these suckers left over. Not only did I sculpt way too many, I also painted way too many. But I'm sure I'll find a use for them. For now, it's time to add some gloss varnish to make my octopus super slippery and slimy shiny. I really tried my best to get in all the little cracks and crevices. I hope the varnish also helps to reinforce the connection of the suckers to the body. And here is the finished Octo Bananas. From a very silly idea to a even sillier sculpture. I hope you had half as much fun watching this as I had making this. It was a pleasure. Thank you so much for watching. Bye!